Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Top 10 Songs. Today we're going to tackle, you guessed it, Styx. One of my personal favorite bands for a very, very long time. And I think as I've gotten older, a band I've come to appreciate more and more and more. And I probably like them more today than I did back when I was a teenager. And I liked them quite a bit then. So I'm going to run down my top 10 favorite songs. Again, these are my favorite songs. If you're looking for a definitive best top 10 Styx songs based on popularity, single sales, all that kind of stuff, that's not what we do here. These are my personal favorite 10 songs. You're probably not going to see stuff that you may really, really like in my top 10. Post your top 10 favorites. These are just mine. We all have our own opinions, likes and dislikes, so nobody's wrong here. It's just a matter of preference. I've got a long list of honorable mentions. So again, if I don't mention your favorites, you can't mention every song, right? There's very few by Styx that I don't like, but I didn't want to just mention every single song from every album. Although there are a couple of albums that I'm going to go through where I pretty much mention almost every song because I just love them so much. What's interesting about tackling or doing these things in general, these top 10 shows, is that you actually go back and you revisit all of the albums and really assess like all the songs. And it's just, especially with these guys, it's amazing how really solid their early albums are, all the way up to, the Cornerstone album. And even that was probably a signal of kind of weaker things to come over the next few years. But then, God, they put that Mission album out 2 years ago, which is fantastic. So just a really, really good band that kind of did a lot of everything, right? Hard rock and prog and pop and just good old rock and roll and boogie and all sorts of stuff. So a really, really great band. So let's start with my number 10. It's actually the probably first big single from the band. It's off their Styx 2 album. It's the song Lady. A short, sweet, powerful song with great vocals from Dennis DeYoung, and it's it's a good hard rocker, but again, it shows some of those slightly proggy nuances that the band always kind of threw out there. The great vocal harmonies, really, really great tune, catchy tune that kind of has stood the test of time over the years. So that comes in at number 10. Coming in at number 9, off the very, very good Crystal Ball album, which was Tommy Shaw's first album with the band. The closing, epic, it's kind of like a two-part tune, Clair de Lune / Ballerina. An amazing prog rock song, okay, with just majestic keyboards from Dennis DeYoung, great vocal harmonies, that whole ending kind of piece, la 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 la. It's just so bombastic, so kind of Queen-like almost, A really, really, really great song, and another one of those epic Styx tracks that I think for a lot of people who may be on the fence about Styx and only really know them from, their pop hits, like Babe and Best of Times and all that nonsense, probably never knew that the band did stuff like that. And they did a lot of it, actually. So that comes in at number 9. Coming in at number 8, off the same album, the title track, Crystal Ball, Tommy Shaw's big kind of first somewhat hit with the band. Just a great tune. It's majestic. It's got the great Tommy Shaw vocals, and him and JY, James Young, have been a great guitar team for so long. Always like Crystal Ball. Great, great tune. And just to give you an idea just how great of a song it is and how much it means to Styx fans, even Dennis DeYoung and his solo band, they play Crystal Ball to this day. You got to, right? Styx classic. All right, coming in at number 7. Going back a ways to the Man of Miracles album, the title track. What a great, great kind of Deep Purple / Uriah Heep inspired guitar, Hammond organ, riff rocker that is. It's just epic. It's bone-crunchingly heavy. It's got those great, multi-part vocal harmonies. It's just such a killer, killer tune. Again, off of another very strong album from early in the band's catalog. Coming in at number 6. Here we're going to get into a lot of real familiar stuff. Number 6, off the Pieces of 8 album, a big hit for the band, a perennial classic for the band, Renegade. Again, another fantastic song from Tommy Shaw, who just has brought so much to this band. Comes in at number 6. Coming in at number 5, My second favorite song from this album, one of those tunes that the band just never played live until they did a couple years back, the whole Pieces of Eight Grand Illusion tour where they played both albums front to back, start to finish. I'm talking about Castle Walls from Grand Illusion. A just dynamite symphonic prog rock gem from that album. A great album. Love the Grand Illusion album, and I've always loved Castle Wall. It's kind of mysterious, bombastic, majestic, total prog. Love it. And again, Dennis DeYoung all over that tune. You know, Dennis DeYoung became known for doing, forcing the band down a lot of pop avenues. But man, a lot of the stuff that he wrote earlier in the band's career, it's total prog rock, right? Awesome stuff. So that's coming in number 5. How about number 4? Back to the Pieces of Eight album. Blue Collar Man. I've always really loved Blue Collar Man. It's heavy, it's raucous, it's fiery. God, the organ and the guitars. Tommy Shaw's great vocals. Love seeing them play that live. It's just a barn burner of a tune. And it's one of those songs, you've all heard it on classic rock radio a million times over the years. But man, when it comes on, I certainly don't turn it off. Love it. Coming in at number 4. Coming in at number 3, the grandiose title track to The Grand Illusion. Perfectly constructed song. Again, mixes kind of prog and rock and hard rock. I guess you'd call it pomp rock, right? Whatever. All sorts of names for the kind of music that Styx has put out over the years. But man, The Grand Illusion is just so regal and majestic, right? Just a perfect kickoff track to that amazing album. That's number 3. Okay, my top 2. Coming in at number 2. These two could have flip-flopped at any given time. I love them both equally, but I had to pick one over the other. And the more I thought about it, the more it kind of makes sense that coming in at number 2 would be Sweet Madame Blue from the amazing Equinox album. I'm actually surprised more tunes from Equinox didn't make my list because it's just a great album. It's so solid top to bottom. But Sweet Madame Blue, again, another perfect melding of hard rock, almost metal at times, with the light, majestic touches of progressive rock. It's what the 70s was so great. It's why the 70s was so great. You had so many bands that kind of did that hard rock and prog thing. And just a great, great tune. Again, another one that they still play live. Dennis DeYoung plays it with his band as well. Great, great tune. Coming in at number 1. Back to the Pieces of Eight album. If anybody out there watching this who's known me for many, many years, you probably won't be surprised when I list this next one here. It's been kind of my favorite or top 3 Styx song for going on, 40 years now. It's the mighty, dark, and menacing Queen of Spades from Pieces of Eight. Another heavy, heavy tune that again just has all the elements that made Styx so great. The multi-part vocal harmonies, the hard-charging riffs of James Young and Tommy Shaw, Dennis DeYoung's great vocals, and killer keyboard work. But this one's a heavy one. It's dark. It's deadly. It's my favorite Styx song of all time. So there's my top 10. A lot of good stuff in there. But there's a ton of great stuff in the honorable mentions. So let's go all the way back to the Wooden Nickel years from the first album. First album is really good. Okay, you got Movement for the Comet Man, that big suite that opens up the album. Great stuff. The awesome Right Away. Okay, What Has Become of Us? Best Thing. Great tune. Quick as the Beat of My Heart. And After You Leave Me. It's basically almost about the whole first album, right? First album was real. Those Wooden Nickel years were really, really good. Granted, the band was still finding their way, but if you only know Styx from maybe Crystal Ball, Pieces of Eight, Grand Illusion, Cornerstone, so on and so forth, and you haven't discovered those early albums, you really should, because a lot of those elements are still there. The only difference is, Tommy Shaw is not on those albums. Got James Kurlewski, however he says his name, who was a very good player too, and a good singer and good songwriter. May he rest in peace. Styx 2, how about You Need Love? A Day, Father OSA, Earl of Roseland. How cool is that tune? I'm Gonna Make You Feel It. Another really, really solid album. From The Serpent is Rising, as we continue on with the Wooden Nickel years. How about Witch Wolf? The Grove of Eglantine, another kind of majestic prog rocker. Young Man, great hard rocker. Jonas Salter, another really cool tune, and the title track, The Serpent is Rising. From the already mentioned Man of Miracles, how about Rock and Roll Feeling? These guys could really do some hard rock and boogie back then too, man. Foghat had nothing on these guys. A Song for Suzanne, another great majestic rocker. Evil Eyes, Southern Woman, and the mighty Christopher, Mr. Christopher. Another really solid album. From Equinox, okay. Basically the whole Equinox album is great. Light Up, awesome tune. Lorelei, that one was on my early version of my top 10. Another great tune. Mother Dear, killer tune. With great Dennis DeYoung vocal. Lonely Child. Midnight Ride, barn burner, hard rock and boogie tune. And Born for Adventure, which was also in my top 10 and got booted at the last minute in favor of something else. But man, I love Born for Adventure. What a steamrolling heavy rock tune that is. The old Styx really rocked really, really hard. From Crystal Ball, how about Put Me On? Okay. Mademoiselle, another fantastic tune, and Jennifer. From The Grand Illusion, basically the whole damn album, right? So Fooling Yourself, The Angry Young Man, another tune that sat right on the periphery of my top 10. Probably that would come in at 11 or 12 or 13. Love that song. Superstars, okay? The Mighty Come Sail Away. Love that tune. Heard it way too many times. It's still a great one. That one also, probably a top 15 tune. Just doesn't make my top 10. Miss America and the gorgeous Man in the Wilderness. All right? From Pieces of Eight, Great White Hope. I'm Okay with its church organ, right? Lords of the Ring and the title track, Pieces of Eight. That's another probably top 15 song or whatever. Title track. From Cornerstone, Lights. Always my favorite song from that album. Why Me? The very cool Tommy Shaw pen, Boat on the River. Borrowed Time. The Mighty Eddie. And Love in the Midnight. From Paradise Theater, how about Rockin' the Paradise? Too Much Time on My Hands. Another great Tommy Shaw tune. The Mighty Snowblind, another great vehicle for Dennis DeYoung. And Halfpenny, Twopenny. He's snarling on that one too, huh? From Kilroy Was Here. Not one of my favorite albums. Double Life is cool. Heavy Metal Poisoning, obviously, is pretty cool. Of course, both of those heavily influenced by James Young. Mr. Roboto is kind of fun to see. When you go see Dennis DeYoung, he plays it live. It's kind of fun, but kind of a silly tune. That, I guess, the less said about the rest of Kilroy, the better. From Edge of the Century, not another strong album. But I love the Love Is the Ritual tune. That's a good one. The rest of it, kind of really commercial, kind of like the band kind of trying to do their kind of hair metal thing. It didn't really work for me. A couple decent tracks, but Love Is a Ritual is my favorite. From Brave New World, solid reunion album. What Have They Done to You? The title track, Everything Is Cool and Heavy Water. Pretty strong tunes. That album probably suffers just too much material on it. From the very good Cyclorama, okay, from 99, Do Things My Way, great tune. Waiting for Our Time. These Are the Times, Captain America, Together, and the awesome One With Everything. If you haven't listened to Cyclorama, go get that. It's a very, very solid album. Really, really good. Didn't get the recognition it deserved. And of course, their most recent album, which quickly becoming a favorite of mine, and I think if we were to do this same show a couple years from now, one or two of those songs from The Mission might even infiltrate my top 10, because there's a couple of them that are that good. 100 Million Miles from Home. Awesome song. The stunning Locomotive. Man, Tommy Shaw. Tommy Shaw's imprint is all over The Mission. It's such a great album. His vocals are still so good. His songwriting skills are top-notch still. Radio Silence. Awesome, awesome tune. Got some great vocals from both Shaw and Lawrence Gowan. The Greater Good, great harmonies in that. The Red Storm, killer prog rock tune. The Outpost and Mission to Mars, what a fun song that is. So there you have a lot of honorable mentions. Too many almost, right? It would have been ridiculous to try and pare that down. So let's count back my top 10, starting from number 1, Queen of Spades. Number 2, Sweet Madam Blue. Number 3, The Grand Illusion. Number 4, Blue Collar Man. Number 5, Castle Walls. Number 6, Renegade. Number 7, Man of Miracles. Number 8, Crystal Ball. Number 9, Claire de Lune / Ballerina. And number 10, Lady. Some great tunes there. But of course, this band has a lot of great tunes. So let's hear your favorite Styx top 10 honorable mentions. Put them in the comments and feedback. Remember, nobody's wrong here, guys. We all like what we like. It's just the way it is. So let's not have people pointing out what other viewers are putting in as their top 10. Everybody likes what they like as well. You know, don't try and tell me that these aren't my favorite 10 songs by Styx, because they are. You may differ, and that's fine. That's why we want to hear which ones you like. No sense in trying to convince someone else that what they really like and what's near and dear to them is not correct. There's no right or wrong here. So make sure you visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. Lots of great album reviews on there, interviews, concert reviews, all sorts of fun stuff. Go on our Facebook page. On Facebook, we've got daily polls. Right now, we're in the midst of like a 3-week live album battle. Each day, we got classic live albums battling against each other for your votes. So go check out our Facebook page at Sea of Tranquility Prog. Follow us on Twitter. We announce stuff on Twitter every so often. But of course, we're here on YouTube quite often. We got more top 10 songs coming up probably tomorrow or the next day. You'll see one from UFO. We've got Steely Dan coming up this weekend. I'm also trying to work on a Whitesnake top 10 songs. God, there's so much. My list is long. The Who, Saga, April Wine, Rolling Stones, on and on and on. So many bands I want to cover. It's just a matter of time to get into it. I've got a rant that I hope to do maybe this weekend. If I could squeeze in before then, it'd be great. And all sorts of other stuff. Man, it's never ending, right? So we'll see you real soon, guys. Take care.